Good afternoon, everybody. This is Bob Iacchino from Path Trading Partners, along with my co-founder, Mike Arnold. It is August 25th, and this is a Path Chat educational update covering Monero cryptocurrencies. Now, this is more education than it is update. It's Friday. The cryptocurrencies are trading, but we did our podcast today, and we talked a little bit more about trading around a core position. We've done a couple of videos where we mentioned that. So we wanted to go into it quite a bit more as to what that means. And what people never really understand is when they look at outperformance, people look against benchmarks. So what is Bitcoin if you bought it at 0 and rode it up to 4,000? It's incredible performance. But in the midst of that, there were ebbs and flows. So we chose Monero for this update because we have an actual belief in technology of Monero. It's one of the cryptocurrencies we like long term, and there's a couple that we like long term. Not really appropriate to go into that in this forum. But what we're doing with Monero is we're holding it long term, but we're trading around it as well. This way we don't suffer through the ebbs and flows of the currencies. We add and subtract. So we have a core long, and then we trade around that core long. And Mike's going to kind of show you an example of over the last few ebbs and flows of Monero, how we did and would have done the ins and outs of it. Some of them we did, some we didn't for various reasons. It's very difficult to trade exactly the way we do with 6 or 7 minute YouTube videos. But we wanted to kind of give you an example of what we mean a little bit more in detail about trading around a core position by displaying on Monero what we actually did do and would have done in certain situations. So having said that, let me turn it over to Mike to show you the educational side of our updates. Mike, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Bob. So we keep getting more questions about why we trade around a core position, what exactly that means, and we wanted to provide an example of how we can do this. Core position means we're always keeping something on. This is Monero, US dollar. We are very bullish on Monero. We really like the technology behind it, and we're going to want to invest in it longer term. But we're not just going to want to sit and hold our position. So let's give an example. We went up to new highs, pulled back. We have a path trading trend line. So let's say we still have 5 core lots, whatever our lot size is. Then our lot size would be a set number of Monero coins. We pulled some off on this run to new highs, pulled back. So now we're looking on maybe to put on maybe 3 lots back. So gets above our trend line, we're entering with 3 lots when we have our price targets lined up. So let's see what happens. It comes back to the rotation zone. If you don't understand the rotation zone, it's in a video we've already put. If you don't understand trend lines, it's in a video. So we come up, hits this level, we take some off. So now we have our core position, but we've also taken off 2 of the 3 lots we've added. So then it rallies up, doesn't quite get to our next target, starts another pullback. So what can we do? Well, we can add some back in. So maybe we take this, we take another trend line or a best fit line, whichever works for you. And all right, we get some back on, gets above the trend line, get some back on. And what are we looking for? Well, we can look to take out some out at the most recent highs. So we could, not the all-time highs, but the most recent highs. So we'll look to do that. We'll just mark it off on our chart. So it comes back, all right, hits that level and the next level. Also, we still have some we added back on our 3 lots, so we can do our Gann box projection, and we will be putting up more videos on Gann boxes. We can project on the last major swing, and we hit the first level, so that takes off our 3 lots we still have on our core position, in case it keeps going to new highs, where we can scale out of some of our core position and then trade back into it more heavily on the pullbacks. So we got some more off up here, and now we're waiting for the next pullback to add some on. Remember, we always keep something on. We don't take off our entire position should it keep running. We just strategically add and remove. So we can remove all these things, all our old trend lines, because they're no longer valid. We've already used them. Now we have another pullback right now, which has happened very recently, because you can see pullback, we get drop below the rotation zone. All right, this is now we're relying on the rotation zone on the daily, and we'll switch over to that because when these go flat and wavy, we also have the double cross principle in one of our last videos about how this means we're pulling back to the rotation zone on the higher time frame. We get back above the rotation zone, get an entry. So then we can look to target the most recent swing highs, which are hit, so we can take one of the lots off. And now we're just basing sideways, holding with the rotation zone. And now we've done a GAN projection from here to here with our 12.5 and 25% GAN levels. So now on a continued move up, we're going to look to take some off at these levels higher. We can even look to peel a little more off at the next most recent high, or we could use that as a stop reduction and then take some off here and here should we move higher. Let's take a look at that daily chart real quick. We talked about the double cross principle right in here. So the daily chart, we're pausing, we paused, and we're trying to let this 8 catch up. One of the reasons we're not being super aggressive right now is because we're getting very extended from the daily rotation zone. So we can project our next levels higher. Doesn't mean that we have to hit them right now. It just means those are key levels we're projecting. Should it keep running up, to take some back, and then we're looking to add. If you're being more aggressive, you can add on the 1 hour or you can add on the 4 hour. It doesn't really matter. Here's the 4 hour chart. We were down on a 1 hour chart. Here's the 4 hour when we talked about that double cross, letting it catch up. Here's that double cross, letting the rotation zone catch up on the 4 hour. And now the rotation zone is our favor. So if you're trading on the 4 hour, here's an example. So we get something like this. Here's a nice path trading trend line, get backing above the trend line. You're going to want to take some off at the end of this clear path, which is the solid bodies of the candles, which gave you an area to pull it off. It's pulled back. It hasn't pulled back to the rotation zone on the 4 hour. So if this was your key prime area, if it does drop back into this rotation zone, you'll set up another trend line. When it gets back above that trend line, you'll be adding some more of your position, and then you could take off possibly at this most recent high if you add it again, and then you'll use the GAN projections to go higher. So that's one way to keep adding and taking profits, and not just sitting here as an investor and going, okay, it's gone nowhere in a number of days, whereas it's gone nowhere for the investor. We have our core investment, but we've also added and subtracted and made some profits going in and out to this market. Well, it's gradually going up, but a lot of sideways movement. That's what we have for you on this educational update using Monero and trading around a core position. Turning it back over to you, Bob.
Thanks for that, Mike. Hopefully things are a little bit more clear in terms of what we mean by that. We're getting a lot of questions about it. You hold a core position and then you trade a side position, which doesn't have any effect on your longer term holding. I think Mike explained it pretty clear, but again, we have a combined 52 years doing traditional market trading and now cryptos. You're not going to get it the first couple times you see it. So keep watching our videos, hit like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and spread this stuff around. We appreciate your help in the growth of our channel, and hit us up if there's something you want to know and something you want to understand. Actually a couple of people asked us about trading psychology. We'll try and get that done this week, but if not, the week after that, we'll do it for sure. Cheers, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching.